mewing. And I'm not talking about cats. I'm not talking about cats. So is it possible to fix a recessive chin and have a firmer jawline? You see the likes of Brad Pitt with those movie star looks, that firm jaw. I see my own star quarterback from the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. You look around, you see supermodels like Sean O'Prey, and of course, superheroes themselves all seem to possess this really firm jawline. Is it possible to actually fix your jawline? Can you improve the way your jaw presents itself? Let's talk about that. First thing you can do is keep your mouth shut.
What mouth?
Yes, keep your mouth shut. And I mean in terms of breathing. You want to start breathing through your nose. Research has shown that the gentleman that I mentioned up above, as well as most people who have a really firm jaw or really wide smiles, tend to be nose breathers and do not breathe through their mouth. And so first thing you can do is keep your mouth shut and train yourself to breathe through your nose. You're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I do. Just sit there for a minute. Are you breathing through your mouth? A lot of people walk around with their mouths open and are mouth breathers. So what you want to do is shut that mouth, start breathing through your nose, and it'll feed into some of the things that I'm going to talk about now. If you do any amount of research online, how do I get a firmer jaw? How do I get a better looking, profile? All of this stuff. One word repeatedly comes up over and over again, and that word is mewing. Yes, mewing. And I'm not talking about cats. I'm not talking about cats. Yes, it sounds like a strange word, but it actually comes from a particular person, and his name is Mew, last name M-E-W. And not only his name, but his father's name and his grandfather's name. We have 3 generations of British orthodontists who have come together to give us the term mewing. What they had noticed over time that when they were looking at people, they saw people that were definitely nose breathers and not mouth breathers, but they had all of these other things in common. These are the basic principles of mewing. What a lot of the people had in common was they were all chewing hard food, they had a proper swallowing technique, and they also had proper tongue placement. And you're thinking, what could all of this have to do with how the jaw looks and how the jaw presents itself? From the time you're born until you're probably in your mid-20s, fissures in your skull and in your jaw are still somewhat malleable. And so if you actually do some techniques, and the mewing techniques that I'm talking about, especially done in adolescents or guys in their early 20s, can help manipulate the shape of the jaw, increasing the profile projection and increasing the overall width. And those are the things that happen when you do proper mewing techniques. That first tenet of mewing involves hard chewing. So you're thinking, what am I going to do today? Well, we eat an awful lot of soft processed food. Think about our burgers, as opposed to eating the steak. You eat the flour that has been really refined, as opposed to the grained flour. There's a lot of things that have changed over time with the convenience of living in the 21st century. We have a lot of processed food, but it's not always been good for our general body health as well as our teeth and our jaws. So better chewing through the chewing of hard food. You can do that today by just cutting out some of the processed food in your life and actually eating harder foods. So remember, keep your mouth shut on this one too. We don't want you chewing with your mouth open. Another thing you can do is to chew gum. Yes, something so simple. If you get rid of those refined foods and start eating harder foods, you can also add chewing gum to your arsenal of things that you can do to help improve your overall jaw presentation. I recommend sugar-free, but it can be bubble gum, it can be any kind of chewing gum. Chewing can actually strengthen the masseter muscles in the face, which is located here, and actually help the forward look of the forward projection of the face, especially when you start younger. But remember to keep your mouth shut when you're chewing your gum. Second pillar of mewing is proper swallowing. A lot of this has to do with the way we were brought up. We often are maybe on a pacifier, a binky, a little too long, and we tend to take those habits of constantly sucking on something into adulthood, and so we actually suck our food down as opposed to having proper tongue placement. Proper tongue placement puts the food at the roof of the mouth and then pushes it back, as opposed to just swallowing food either whole or partially chewed. Just recommend really chewing up your food, pushing it to the roof of your mouth, and using your tongue to shovel it back. So once again, keep your mouth shut while doing this. It's a common theme here, isn't it? That's the second principle of mewing, proper swallowing, and it really dovetails nicely into the third tenet of mewing, which is proper tongue placement. Practice swallowing right now. Just take your spit and swallow it. And what you see happening is when you do that, it pushes up the lower part of your face, and then your tongue is on the roof of your mouth, slides along the roof of your mouth to push the food back or the spit back. Keep your tongue firmly placed against the roof of your mouth. So a lot of times we just let our tongues hang down, we let our mouths hang open, and this gives us laxity in the face. When you have your tongue in the upper position with force against the roof of your mouth, what you're doing is actually using the muscles of your tongue, the muscles of the fascia of your face, the masseter muscles, and you're actually working them out throughout the day. And this will aid to actually improve the general musculature of your face. So, do these things actually work? Does breathing through your nose work? Does doing any of the tenets of mewing actually work? And the truth is, the younger you can start, the better. You have fissures in your skull and in your face that are still forming, that do not become rigid until you're in your mid-20s, say 25 years old. So the younger you start, if you are in your teens, to doing some of these principles, the better. If you have kids right now, thinking about the way they chew, the way they're breathing as children, you can actually fix a lifetime of orthodontic problems by actually being aware of some of these general principles. I wish I would have done that. I don't think I was so much a mouth breather, but my sister was, and she had a jaw that was considerably narrow. Orthodontics has come a long way. They have identified things that you can do early. So the suggestion is take kids to the orthodontist early, as soon as the permanent teeth come in, to see if there's anything that has gone awry in the way they're breathing or in the way they are swallowing or in their general tongue position. And you can address some of those issues early in hopes of actually improving the general profile of someone's face as well as the way the jaw presents itself. So if you're a teenager, I think there's time. If you're one of the older guys in the room, and I'll speak for myself here, it might be a little too late, but you know what? You've come to the right place also, because growing a beard is also a way that you can get a superhero chin. Would you not agree? Until we meet again.